Well, you're here because you filled out a survey about a guy and he scored a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you, things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10 dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10 dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
He is more of a talker than a doer when it comes to his career. Even though he has clever ideas and talks with a lot of energy, he often doesn't put in the hard work needed to move ahead. You might notice he hops from one plan to another without real progress.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When things go wrong at work, he won't usually lose his temper or act out, but you'll notice he tends to pull away and keep his feelings inside. He likely won't shout or blame others openly, but may become distant or less talkative, hiding away instead of sorting out the problem. He doesn't crumble in front of others, but he also doesn't bounce back quickly or stay positive.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
He often struggles to get along with people at work. While he won't pick loud fights or cause big scenes, his words can be harsh or come off as rude, even if he doesn't mean them that way. You might find that people work with him because they have to, not because they enjoy his company.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
He is not the type to openly celebrate your success or show much pride in it. At the same time, he won't make a scene or argue about it, but he might pull away and become more distant. It's not that he's against you, it just may not touch his heart.
What if you start earning more than him?
He probably won't show big signs of jealousy or pick fights if you earn more than him, but don't expect him to be proud or happy about it either. Instead, he might act distant or seem a bit cold, keeping his real feelings to himself. He's unlikely to cheer you on or talk much about your achievements, and you may feel alone in your success.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He takes a careful approach to money and usually prefers to stick to plans and routines when it comes to spending. He's unlikely to make big, impulsive purchases or waste money just for fun. While he may not be generous or eager to share, you can count on him to manage finances in an organized way.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He is more likely to live within his means and doesn't try to act richer than he really is. He generally avoids spending extra just to impress others and prefers to stick to what he can afford. You probably won't see him showing off or buying things he can't pay for.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He tends to be quite tight with both his money and his feelings. He might not be rude on purpose, but he usually keeps things to himself and doesn't go out of his way to help others or show kindness. He believes in holding back rather than giving freely.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He is likely to be strict about money and may want things done a certain way, but he usually isn't the type to hide things or be sneaky. You'll probably find he wants clear rules and may expect you to follow his ideas about how to spend or save. If you can handle someone who's a bit rigid but not dishonest, he can help keep finances steady, even if he isn't always easy to please.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He is likely to believe that tasks should be organized and everyone should do their part, but he won't naturally step in to help with housework unless it's clearly his responsibility. He might make schedules or rules about chores, but you may notice he expects you to handle most of the traditional jobs at home unless you speak up. He values order but may not see housework as his job.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He's more likely to help by telling you how things should be done rather than rolling up his sleeves himself. He likes things to be done a certain way, but often leaves the actual work to you, focusing on planning or supervising instead. Otherwise, he'll stay on the sidelines.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He doesn't usually argue loudly or try to prove he's right in a big way, but he also doesn't truly listen and try to understand your side. Instead, he tends to shut down, pull away, or quietly stick to his own opinion without much discussion. You may find conversations feel one sided, with you sharing your feelings and him not really opening up or giving much in return.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he doesn't typically shout, use hurtful words, or become aggressive. Instead, he goes quiet and keeps his feelings inside, often pulling away or giving you the silent treatment. So you won't face harsh words, but you may face long, chilly silences.
Does he have a bad temper?
He is not someone who gets angry very quickly. His temper stays mostly under control, and you're unlikely to see sudden outbursts or mood swings with him. This quiet distance can be just as troubling as open anger, especially if you end up feeling lonely in the relationship.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
He finds it hard to say sorry or openly admit his mistakes. Instead of blaming you directly or starting a fight, he'll most likely avoid the topic altogether or quietly stick to his own version of events. This means you could feel like problems never get solved and small issues might pile up over time.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
He is likely to follow rules and routines, so he will usually respect your boundaries if you state them clearly. He may not always show warmth or deep understanding, but he doesn't push or cross lines when you say no. You might find him a bit strict or inflexible, but when it comes to limits, he tends to follow what's set without arguing or testing you. Clear words work best. He listens when a rule is made plain.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
He's not the type to get upset or start a fight if you're not in the mood for intimacy. Instead, he tends to pull away and keep his feelings inside, rarely making a scene or showing open hurt. You won't face emotional drama, but you might notice the relationship feels a little colder during these times.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
Yes, you can generally trust him not to use private moments against you or try to embarrass you later. While he might not always be emotionally warm or deeply caring, he isn't the kind to share your secrets, make fun of you, or bring up intimate details to hurt you in an argument. If anything, he keeps things to himself and doesn't bring up the past much.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He is likely to be faithful and not easily distracted by other women. He prefers routine and order in his life, and that includes relationships. He isn't the type to flirt around or step outside the boundaries of your relationship.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
He is not the type to be over possessive or constantly jealous. He doesn't usually act controlling or watch your every move. You're unlikely to face lots of suspicion or angry questions from him.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, with him, you won't find an overly protective nature turning into controlling or bossy behavior. He doesn't tend to keep a constant watch over you or set strict limits on your freedom. If anything, he's more likely to be distant than protective, sometimes making you wish he cared a bit more.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He is likely to see a parenting as something that needs rules and routines, but he won't naturally step in as a true teammate. He may expect you to do most of the daily work with the kids unless you set clear expectations and share tasks from the start. You'll often find him watching from the sidelines, maybe giving directions, but not jumping in without being asked.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he usually stays calm and doesn't lose his temper or yell. Instead of having big outbursts, he tends to go silent or withdraw, keeping his feelings to himself. He might give a serious look or quietly point out what went wrong, but you won't see much shouting or harsh punishment.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
He's unlikely to openly support or celebrate your role as both a mother and an independent woman. He may expect you to keep up with family routines and your own tasks, often without much praise or encouragement. If you're looking for a partner who boosts your confidence and cares about your happiness beyond home duties, you may end up feeling alone in your efforts.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later after kids and marriage change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
Yes, this is the kind of man who might quietly expect you to step back from your career once you have a child, even if he seems okay with your work in the beginning. He values clear roles and routines, so after a baby arrives, he may believe it's your job to handle home and parenting without saying it directly at first. If staying in your career is important to you, talk honestly before marriage so you don't feel trapped or surprised later on.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He is more likely to act polite on the surface rather than show real warmth to your parents. He may do what's expected during family visits, greet them, listen, and follow traditions. But don't expect him to be openly affectionate or go out of his way to bond with them. His respect comes from following rules and manners, not from deep emotional connection. He is not very flexible when it comes to adjusting to new ways, so he's more likely to expect your family to fit around his preferences and routines.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or gets too involved, he will usually stay calm on the outside and not react with anger or sharp words. Instead of fighting or making a scene, he'll likely pull back, becoming silent or distant. His calm can keep peace, but it may also leave you feeling alone with your struggles.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you, but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
Yes, he is the type who may seem modern and relaxed with you in private, but when it comes to family or relatives, he's likely to expect you to act like a traditional supportive wife. He values routines and wants things to run smoothly, especially in front of others. So he'll want you to follow customs, show respect to elders, and fit into expected roles during family gatherings. He may not say this openly, but you'll feel the pressure when relatives are around. If you want true freedom to be yourself, be ready for some unspoken expectations when it comes to his family.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension, he is most likely to stay out of it rather than openly support you or take sides with his family. He doesn't enjoy conflict and prefers to keep things peaceful, even if that means not standing up for you. This can leave you feeling unsupported or alone. So, if you want a partner who actively stands by you, During tough family times, he may fall short of your hopes.
Say you have a conflict with his mother, what will this guy do?
He may not be an open mummy's boy, but he's unlikely to choose your side in a conflict with his mother. He tries to avoid confrontation and doesn't want to upset family routines, so he's more likely to stay silent or keep out of the argument rather than clearly support you. You might find yourself handling disagreements with his mother on your own while he remains distant or neutral.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
He's not the kind of man who shares every detail of your fights or private life with his mother or sister. He tends to keep things to himself, especially personal issues, and doesn't open up easily, even with close family. This means your private matters are likely to stay private, and you won't have to worry about him running to others to talk about your problems.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
So that's the story. This guy scores a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short of the standard we would want. Day in and day out, being in a relationship with him can feel steady but also a bit lonely and routine. He sticks to habits, keeps things organized, and doesn't like chaos, so life will usually run on schedule.